topic, how we work as a Rongoā Mauri practitioner with trauma, mental health and injury, it's a pretty big topic. And how, as a Rongoā Mauri practitioner, we actually don't see those as separate from themselves. We see them, we see the person. We don't actually separate any of those from each other. How we work with kiritaki is that as soon as they make the booking, as soon as they make a phone call or email and the booking has been placed, wairua is ignited and the healing starts from that time between the practitioner and the kiritaki. And as a Rongoā Mauri practitioner, we're trained to learn about our environment. We're trained to see the tohu in our environment and also the tohu around people. And also we can hear through the sound of the voice, through smell, through body language, and in their story that they share, we are reading in between the lines of what's not being shared within their story. So briefly, that is how we work. When someone comes in who, for instance, has trauma, when they come in, sometimes we have clients that don't want to be touched. They just want to kōrero, or they're curious. They want something that's a little, holistic. So when they come in, some of the, we don't often give body work. We will just work with them in an energetic level. So working with the wairua, with their mauri, and with anything that is safe for the kiritaki and safe for everyone that's involved. And how we work with kiritaki is that as we enter, it's the same as when we enter the ngahere, when we enter the forest, because we enter the sacred space with reverence and with respect and with karakia, and also holding space for that kiritaki all the way through. And while we're on that note, I've got this karo here. This is a karo, and it was lying on the ground, and I was looking at the seeds, the Kākano, if you can see that. And how I like to explain about how we see people is that we are reflections of our environment. The environment reflects who we are. And so we can learn so much about a person just by understanding, how they live, what they like to do. That can tell us a lot about who they are. But one of the things that I like about the Kākano is that we are reflections of the Kākano. There is a whakatauki. He Kākano ahau I rui mai I rangiatia, which is, I am a seed sown from rangiatia. I will never be lost. And that is because the seed is the blueprint of where we come from. And when we can understand about what calls the seed to rise, we can understand how we can work with people. So if we look at the Kākano, if we look at the seed, most seeds, or a lot of seeds, they stay within the darkness of papatuanuku, in the embrace, sometimes up to years, for a very long time before they feel like they can come into te ao marama. It can take many years, and what these seeds are doing is they're checking out their environment to see if it's safe, to rise to the top. They're making sure that there is enough water, nutrients, if there's no invasive plants that are going to hinder or filter their progress from becoming their highest potential, because each kākano inside has the blueprint of who they're meant to be, and they have the blueprint to be their very best, to become their highest potential of the reflection of source or the almighty or creator. That's all they know is the source of what they're meant to be. So they look at their surroundings and their environment, and they're feeling whether it's safe for them to come out. And I liken that to kiritaki for many clients that can be disconnected from their tinana, or they've gone inside because they don't feel safe to be in the environment. So we look at their conditions, just like with a kākano, we look at the conditions or their environment around them to see how they can make it safe, to feel that they can unfurl like a kākano. So just going back to this kākano, when they're underground and everything is safe to come out, there is something that calls to them to break through their shell, to break through their coating, to extend their roots, their hair roots, their tap roots, to be able to go down to ground themselves before they can put their head above ground. There's something inside the kākano that calls them to rise. And this is the only way that I can explain to people about what we see within people is their light. There is a light within people that if we just focused on that, and that light is strong enough, their super intelligence that's within them, if we have the conditions that are right, the light that's inside them will feel will be empowered and take on their own empowerment to be able to rise to the surface. First, they'll start to send out their tap roots and ground, and then they will rise above the surface. So if we look at kiritaki people, even find their light inside and just work with that, that's enough to help them, to support them to feel safe enough to bring their light out even further. That's all we have to do, and that's how we work as Rongoā Mauri practitioners. We do that with every client, whether they have mental health or injury. It's just focusing on their light and helping them to see their light as well. We know to work with the light within people because we work with the light within plants. This is the Mauri of plants, and we've worked with this for many years in understanding that there are different types of Mauri, and the Mauri in the plants, there is a light that we can connect to that helps us to become elevated, become well, just by tuning into the Mauri of the plants. That can also help us to heal or be empowered. This is why being in the ngahere has so much rongoā for us, because it's the Mauri that is being emitted. It is the vibration and the sound of the rongoā, of the light within the plants, that is enabling our own vibration to entrain with the vibration or light of the plant. If there is a higher note and you have a lower note coming in contact with a higher note, it's through entrainment that that lower note must rise to meet that higher vibration. And the way that it does that is that you will rise, of course, but what it does, it means that there's things that will fall away. that need to fall away. So the heaviness of whatever's impinging on your healing journey needs to drop away. And this is what the plants do, is that they will reveal to you what that is. And if we think about it, we already intrinsically know when things need to be let go of. If you've got something to let go of that is quite heavy, and if it's quite heavy, it can be quite challenging to make a start of letting that go, because of the huge changes that could bring into your life. Some people are afraid of instant change, and so there is a process that some people need to or like to understand that shift, to be able to feel comfortable with that shift of healing. If it's too fast, if the healing is too fast, it can feel, you might feel out of control, because we want to control the healing process at times. It can't be too fast. Sometimes the light of healing is instant, but at the moment, if we are not there, it can be too fast. And so we slow it down. We slow it down so that it fits into our life. It fits into our emotional makeup. And I know that when we take a breath in and we breathe into any pain area in the body that has tension, I know for sure that it can release that tension area. And sometimes we have to keep breathing into that area for it all to start to untie or unravel. And depending on the severity of the tension, can take whatever amount of time it takes. But we strongly recommend that breathwork is brought into your healing journey to help with easing tension or easing pain. Something that we can ask kiritaki when they are ready is if they were a kākano, if they were to be their highest potential and be the reflection of what Source wants them to be, what could that be, or what would that be? What would that be? And it can take some time to go through the emotions or the beliefs or the filters that are there, but we can get there. We can get there. We already know. Deep within, we know what our highest potential is. We already know what it is, but we can feel the blocks or the filters that are there. And it can be a big step to step over those and move them to the side and just be in your highest potential. But what does it take for you to be in that space, for you to be there? What would it take? These are things to just sit with and to reflect on, to be in your highest potential. What would it take? And often when I'm out with a group or out with people and we're in the ngahere, I will often ask them to either find a rākau that calls to them, or I will ask them to look at the vista of the ngahere and just let me know what they see. And anyone can do this. You can do this yourself the next time you're outside or in nature, in the reserve, in the ngahere. Have a look around and describe what you see. Describe what you see, write it down, because what you are seeing is a reflection of you, of where you are in your state of presence. It can tell you a lot about yourself. And I'm going to give you an example. Am I? Yes. When I look outside, because we read Tohu, right? We read tohu. Everything is a tohu around us. And so I know what's in order around me, order, a higher order. So I can see the tohu that fly in or that float in. I can see those tohu coming in. Or if something's out of order, I can see that immediately. And when you're a Rongoā Mauri practitioner, we need to be able to do that instantly, to be able to notice our environment and know what's not in balance. And so manu are a very good way of telling us about our environment. They are the messengers of our world. They are the messages, and each manu has a korowai, and they can show you where you are in your state of presence in your any given time. Whatever manu is in your world or coming into you that visits you, take a look at their feathers. That is the korowai. That is where your taumaha is. That is where you this is where your thoughts are. This is where your presence is at that given time. So, for instance, we have lately, there's been a kōtari I've been hearing in the distance, and I love that. I love it when I hear new birds or birds that I don't often hear, and special birds being in the area. I love that because it's a sign for me. It's a tohu for me. And if I don't see them or don't see particular manu, they are also signs of what I'm not doing. For instance, when we go into the ngahere, we need to be able to see particular tohu that gives us the rite of passage to be able to walk through so that it's safe, so that it will show us, give us an idea of what kind of experience we're going to have in the ngahere. And that's really important because sometimes we go into the ngahere and it's going to be a lot of fun because of the way the manu behave, or there's going to be some serious stuff going on or some serious thinking going on, depending on how the manu behave, how the creatures in the ngahere behave. I want to touch on sound, vibration, and smell. So smell, yeah, because smell is one of my favorites. So, you know, as a Rongoā Mauri practitioner, you can have strong sensory perceptions, and some are stronger than others. And for me, one of the things I love is smell, because I've always known that smell is sound, it's vibration. And so when you're smelling plants or smelling anything in the environment, for instance, like a rose, when you smell that and you take that in, you're taking in the vibration or sound of that plant, and it is a vibrational sound healing that is happening within in the tinana. And with smell, because sound and vibration and smell, they're all they're all mediums. They're all mediums that we can actually they hold information. All sound, smell, vibration, other sensory perceptions that can be used, they're all mediums that can give us a lot of information. In between the sounds, there is notes that can take you into other places that can give you insights and information that that are for you, that are perfect for you at that time. And that is the beauty of being in the ngahere, and you're hearing all the sounds. They're giving you messages, just like a tuning fork or a crystal bowl They're all sounds that are going in, and you might hear them as a manu, or you might smell them as kawa. But what they are is in between those smells and sounds is information that's perfectly for you at that time. And the only way to receive them is when you're open, when you're in that sacred state of presence, when you are truly open to being in that ngahere as one with everything in there, that you are a reflection of everything and you are everything because you are tuning into that whole environment. So it truly is quite spectacular and can be quite overwhelming, overwhelming too. So we can slow that down. We can slow that down as we're walking through, but it's integrating into the body, and it takes that amount of time to come through. So you've got information that comes through as light. That's the insights that come directly from source or universal, because our ngahere and plants and manu, they're all connected to source. So you're getting that direct connection. When that light comes through, we may not understand it straight away, but it's going to go through the tinana and integrate or in its message within you until it's been embodied, and it will take as long as it takes. For one day you might wake up or you'll have an idea and you don't know where it's come from, and it's precisely from that tune or that light that's come through. And you can the more that you keep tuning into these sounds and being present in the ngahere or in the taiao, the more that you're present, the stronger you become as a conduit or tuning fork for them. Ka pai. So it's light. It's all about that light. Everything is that modi, that light. That however long that takes to come through, will be able to reveal itself in time with messages. You just keep practicing at that. Keep practicing at that. But the first thing that we do is we need to look at what is heavy around us, what is heavy that we carry, and look at ways of being able to release that. Because the heavier that we are in terms of emotions and burdens that are sometimes not ours, that we carry for other people, we need to really work on putting those down in a way that is safe. And the way that one of the best ways to do that is to work on that light within you, your connection to whakapapa, to source. And source can be the ngahere or nature.